Sounds good.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am sitting here with Mr. Joey Abadal. Is that how you say that?
It's close. A bit bull.
A bit I
All good.
ran right through it. And he is one of the creators of Seller Locker. And we're just going to go ahead and run through Seller Locker, and we're going to talk about it. Joey's going to give us a little brief introduction about himself and his company. We're just going to answer all the questions about Seller Locker, everything that I can do for you. And as we go throughout, I'll share my story with Seller Locker and how it's ridiculously helped my company. So Joey, what led to Seller Locker being created in that question? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm sorry you got to hear this again. I just told you it a second ago.
That's all right.
But what led to Seller Locker being created, I was doing Amazon about, 6-7 years ago, selling watches from my basement, before FBA. I don't even know about FBA. And, we ranked number 1 in watches in the country, which was nuts. I didn't take it seriously enough. I was only 17, went to school, came back. It was already beat, China got involved there and you couldn't sell that product anymore.
Wow.
And I went to work for a pretty big pretty big wholesale company. And that company wasn't on Amazon yet. And we started taking these massive brand name products like Black & Decker, Westinghouse, AT&T products. And these products, scaled pretty quickly, and the business got big fast. And, my boss was expecting, specific profit margins like, hey, Joe, you told me we were going to be making, 20, 18%, 25%, and our profit margins at the end of the year looking like, 13, 14, 12. We've had, a few of the same products in different colors, exact products in different colors at the same retail with different profit margins. And, it was driving him crazy and he was driving me crazy. And, that led to me having to, dig into some of what was happening in the back end of Amazon. And that led me to, that first case. We had a specific product where we had 3 colors. The fee on one of them was 30, one was 37, and the other was 45. Same product, 3 different colors. And we said, holy cow, that's, a $7 and a $15 difference per unit sales for, the past year. Let's see what we can do about that. And we submitted a claim to Amazon and we got back, about $28,000 with 1 claim. And, that got me crazy. That got him crazy. And my job for the next 3 weeks became, go ahead, go back into my business and clean up every single FBA fee that you can find. And I started doing Excel sheets and I ended up slacking off in the advertising and the sales and all that stuff. And, now he wasn't happy because of that. So I said, okay, bottom line, there has to be some solution out there. And there wasn't. My friend, who's now my partner, was a program developer. He just got out of school. And I said, hey, Al, this could be a business here. I already proved it that I can get back some money for this business. There could be some automation that can be done here. And after automating it for our own internal purposes, we tested it with some friends. They saw some success. We looked into other categories that were out there, and we came out with this Seller Locker tool.
That's awesome, man. And I feel like that's how most things, that kind of like grassroots movement, where it's like you did it for yourself first, you tested it, showed your friends, and then now it's out to the masses to where it's proven by the time you get it to us.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
like we didn't have an idea. It was real. We made it for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say too, I wish I could get 28 grand back in one case, but there is that every little dollar counts, man, that Amazon owes you, and y'all make it super simple. So how does Seller Locker differ from what's already out there?
Good question. So there are reimbursement services out there. I'm not sure what everyone knows about reimbursement tools. Amazon's not too happy with the reimbursement category in general. They don't want to be giving money back. What services are doing, and we're different because we're a software, but what services are doing is they're taking that labor-intensive responsibility that I spoke about, and they're taking it off your plate, and they're submitting all these claims for you, most of the time in bulk, without investigating some of the information. And sometimes, like Paul and I were just discussing, you need to differentiate between what's a real claim and what's not a real claim. And what these services are doing is they're spraying hundreds or dozens of cases at Amazon in a very short time, and they're wasting a lot of Amazon's customer support resources on claims that are really bogus. And last year, 2 years ago, Amazon sent out these, death threats that you guys better stop using these reimbursement services, or you're going to get shut down. And I got that email while we were building this tool.
Oh.
And now it's kind of telling me, like, do I stop, or do I have something different here? And what's different about us is we built a tool that doesn't submit the claims for you. I'm not taking this task on, but I'm going to give you the tools, and Paul could definitely testify that we took it as we give you a dashboard, we unlock everything in a very clear manner, and within one click, you can submit the claim. So we're different because we're not doing it for you. We're empowering you to not have to do this crazy amount of work and still get back that money that's owed to you. And we think even more. We think that, those companies are leaving, 50 to 80% of the money that's out there on the table. And this tool kind of gives you the power to do it on your own. And because the seller is involved in the process, we also uncover a few other categories, specifically FBA fees. Another company, a service, can't do FBA fees for you because they don't know anything about your business. They don't know the dimensions of your product. So they can't differentiate between a discrepancy and a true. So the fees is what we built the business off of. That's what's different between us and everyone else. And then I don't even say it. I can't even say that, but we're in the Amazon App Store. So we are the only compliant way to be going and opening up reimbursement claims.
And that is huge. That compliance, I mean, yeah, there were Amazon at that 2-year mark you were talking about 2 years ago. They were just like shutting people down left and right. And you could potentially, as an Amazon seller, even get in a lot of trouble, for opening up too many cases and all that. And I know y'all give advice on how many cases you should open in a day, or, maybe every few hours or something like that. And so that is, that's super, super helpful. And I can say too, the dashboard is ridiculously clean. It makes it, if you've never opened up, or if you've ever tried to open up your own reimbursements, like in Seller Central, you know how complicated that can be with pulling reports and all that kind of stuff. And they make it super simple where you can, click one button, open up a case. And if you've, all of you probably are opening cases right now, Amazon keeps adding more and more buttons to open up cases. You got to go to help.
Yes. Now you got to text a few words to get yourself to the closest help center message.
I remember the first time I used Seller Locker and I clicked the button to open the case, and it went boop, 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 and it went right to where I could, where you just hit send. And I was like, wow, how do I make that for everything anytime I need to open a case? But it is super, super slick. So, how much value can Seller Locker add for the typical FBA business? You were talking about these reimbursement services maybe missing 50%. So what's your take on that? So
we estimate, and it really depends on the type of business that you have. So there's value with regards to dollars. How much dollars can you expect back in return? You can tell me if these numbers are true with your business. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but we estimate between 1% and 3% of someone's annual revenue can come back to them in a reimbursement. So if someone's doing $1 million a year, it's possible that they would recover between $10,000 and $30,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And especially if you got somebody that's signing up that's not, if they've been doing their own reimbursements themselves or whatever, they get to go back 18 months and grab all of that money. That's a nice payday. Like that first.
And even if you have another software, we catch what they missed.
Yeah.
So we'll show you what the other guys did, and then we'll show you what they missed and how much left is there for you to recover after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or in past cases, it's like if you opened a case and maybe there was a partial reimbursement and you never went back and grabbed the rest of it. You said, hey, you still owe me half of this amount. So no, I would say that 1% to 3% is definitely reasonable. And especially now, I don't know if you heard about, there was a fire in the distribution center.
I heard about it.
Yeah. So it's like, well, whose stuff was lost, whose stuff was burnt, all that. And so there's, all that kind of stuff that y'all do eventually uncover, which is super helpful. So I think that that's a very accurate number. So, how does Amazon, we actually just talked about that, view software providers. And as you just said, that's, y'all are compliant with Amazon as a software, not as a reimbursement service. Correct.
Right.
And so why can't sellers just do this on their own? I guess you could, but go ahead and give your, what do you think about that? Why
Yeah,
can't?
I mean, so I guess my putback there is, why can't seller do this on their own? What it would take to do this on your own with regards to just the FBA fees, is having a very clear understanding of what makes up that fee. It's not just the actual weight of a product. If you sell something like an umbrella that's not heavy and weighs around 2 pounds, that fee could turn out to be like, $9, $10. Why is that? Because there's something called dimensional weight. And if you look at Amazon's tier structure, there's very clear rules on how to make up a fee. You multiply the length, width, height divided by 136 or 139, and then you plug it into the tiers, and it gets a little complicated. And then after you go ahead and calculate what your fee should be per product, Amazon continuously measures your product at their warehouse. Potentially when you send in a new shipment, or if you have a ton of orders, they'll just do another QB scan. And when they do that scan, they update that fee in the back end. So I don't know about you. I definitely never did, but I don't watch my orders as they come in and go check to make sure that fee is correct. No one has the time to just monitor their fees on an ongoing basis. So you kind of either need to watch it as it comes, be very good at Excel to the point where you can track things in real time with real flow of data, or you build a tool or you rely on a software that does that work for you. So we go back 18 months. If you go through Amazon, you can only download 30 days of data. You would have to download 18 different reports, collect them together, figure out what your fee should be, collect the overcharges, and then submit the claim. Instead, like you said, and I'll show everyone on the screen with a demo account, you really just, we did all that collecting for you. You hit one green button and potentially a download button if you were doing an FBA fee case, and we already gathered that for you. We even write the text for you on the Amazon side. So all you got to do is hit send. Yeah. So, just a matter of time. If you were an expert in fees and you had the time to do it, you should try to do it on your own. It would be cool. But we built this tool for the seller that is really busy and doesn't want to hire a employee to do so.
Yeah, and it definitely pays for itself. And for our audience, who's all arbitrageurs, who it's a lot of one-offs, or maybe they've got 20 of something, the fee thing, I would say more probably the biggest, as somebody that does arbitrage, the biggest, what's the word I'm trying to say? The biggest thing that this helps me with is the lost shipments. And that is something that,
Oh, true. Yeah.
That's fairly easy to track, but it's so easy. I mean, the time savings to just go in and look at these lost shipments, or lost in the warehouse, or, whatever. Yep. But then also
damage in the warehouse.
Yeah. And then, but for the fee part that you're talking about, I've got a product that it just went from 18 inches to 18.1, and that 0.1 just bumped it all the way up to this, ridiculous fee. Thankfully, the product is selling for like 4x what I'm buying it for, so I'm still making money. But if not, I mean, that could have put my profit to almost nothing. So anyways.
I definitely don't want to focus on fees if the group is more arbitrage related.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I should talk to some of the other tools.
I think so. Definitely the go ahead.
So like we do, like everyone knows, and you may or may not know with regards to reimbursements, there are, things that can happen at the warehouse. Just to go a little bit deeper into it, you send your product to one DC, they go and scatter it across the other distribution centers in their, 50 states. And, because they're moving from one location to potentially a dozen other locations to fulfill the prime status, every time they ship and receive, there's a risk for them to, lose or damage that product. And that can really add up if you're not calculating and measuring it. So what our tool does is it also monitors your product from the second it gets received at Amazon Fulfillment Center all the way until it leaves, that fulfillment center to get to the customer, tracking each and every step to make sure that if they do damage your SKU, you can easily put in a claim. And maybe now's a cool time to just show a seller how simple it would be to submit that type of claim, that simple type of reimbursement. Let's get the right screen up.
There you go.
Here you go. So like this is a demo account, just a dummy account. This is a real number. The seller receipt got back 86 grand, but we masked the products. This is the dashboard. If it was a new seller, they wouldn't see any opened or resolved, numbers, just awaiting action. And it's as simple as, hitting the discrepancies. This is a total list of all the areas where, you know, money's owed to you. If you're interested in a specific type of case, potentially the damaged inventory we were just discussing, you would hit, you know, any of them. Here's one for $100. I hit view. It shows me details about it that, you know, Amazon damaged 13. There was 11 of them that were already automatically reimbursed by Amazon, but they missed 2 of them. And when I hit open case, this is the, you know, the evidence that Amazon needs to see in order to win the case. You hit the open button. This Chrome extension that we built shoots into Seller Central. It should preload the text for you.
This is what I was talking about, guys, with opening that case right away. It goes right into the appropriate case to open it up.
Unless we jinxed it. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah. And, you know, it preloads all the text with all the evidence. All you have to do is hit send, you know, down here. And once you hit send, the case ID gets taken back to Amazon, to our tool, and the case would jump from awaiting action to open, then eventually it'll jump to resolve.
Perfect. And two, that the Express that y'all just added that, what, a couple months ago?
Yeah, this was like 2 months ago. We wanted to, with lost and damaged, there's no thought. You know, the seller doesn't really need to think about those cases.
Right.
With shipments and with fees, it requires, you know, a brief moment of thought. So we figured, why do we have to have that many clicks? You know, 3 clicks. Let's just turn it into 1. And you know, you hit that one open case button, and it should do the same thing. Shoot to Amazon, preload it. You know, it's loading real quick. Not on my best Wi-Fi right now, so it's not loading as fast. But should take, you know, 2-3 seconds depending on your speed, and preload the text. You hit that send button, and it takes you back.
Yeah. So what this looks like, as far as like how the actual operations, once you're in this, you can only open so many cases. What do y'all suggest? 10 in a day? Yeah,
we stop it at 10.
So you stop, like you can't even open more than 10 in a day?
No, we'll alert you. I mean, we spoke to Amazon at the Boost conference in New Orleans, and we asked them, you know, what should be the limit. They said, you know, you should open 100, and I don't want to see 100 cases. But, you know, if you feel like doing 12 or 15 that day, no one's going to stop you. We'll put an alert saying, hey, you hit 10, but that's about it.
So personal experience, and this isn't advice, this is personal experience. I open 10, and then they get answered within a couple hours. They get closed, and then we open more. So
so if you look here, to your point, you know, it could really be in a couple, because we're bringing you to the right area within Amazon's platform to submit. Like this briefcase extension, it didn't just go to the random area in Amazon. It did all the clicks for you, got you to the proper type of reimbursement, gives Amazon all that information that they need, and you kind of give them everything up front so that the reimbursement process is just, you know, click of a button, snap your fingers and get it.
So they can research it and solve it super fast, you know, once it's opened. So we've experienced where, you know, we could open 10, let them solve 6 of them, then open another 6 in 4 hours if we wanted to. If you really are backed up on cases. So like right here, there's 248 cases that are awaiting action. You know, some of those may require research, some of those may not. But at any rate, this is one of those things that you just, like, every morning, just like you check your Seller Central account to see where you're at, you check your Seller Locker, open up 10 new cases, and then you just keep tacking on and, you know, tacking those on, and eventually becomes something that you're caught up with where you're not behind. On
and like, this is what you're talking about with regards to investigation. Like, let's look for a clear example. Like, this is a situation where, you know, I created a shipment, there's 155 pieces missing. Another tool might put in a reimbursement for the entire amount. We've definitely seen that the more accurate the claim, the faster the response, the better the chance of you getting back that money. And if you see within the shipment, there's a ton of products here where, you know, I shipped 6, or I told Amazon I was going to ship 6, and they received 0. You know, more likely than not, I probably didn't ship that product. Mm-hmm. I know what this is. This is a huge item. I know I didn't ship this one. So, you know, instead of, you know, telling Amazon I shipped 24, that one was a 0. There was one down here that I know I didn't ship at 0. And instead of claiming on 155, now it's 125. And, you know, it looks pretty accurate. same thing. You hit open case and it shoots to Amazon.
And two, go ahead and show real quick where you can go to the shipment right there.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is something that
it'll take you to the shipment if you're interested in learning more about that. We're going to get to it later in the questions, but something that we're doing right now that you might want to know about. You need to get that BOL, that bill of lading, or the carrier tracking number. Some advancements that we're working on. It's always great to save your BOLs, but something that we're working on is, you can upload your signed bill of lading or your tracking number and save it in our platform for a later time, so that when there's a discrepancy, you don't have to think, hey, where was that BOL from 2 months ago? It's saved in our system so that you can automatically transfer it to Amazon when you're clicking that button. So those advancements are coming probably in the next 2 weeks.
So for the arbitragers who are primarily probably shipping small parcel, they are going to most likely have not bill of ladings, but they're just going to have receipts from stores. And Amazon will honor those receipts, from Walmart or wherever. But more and more, they used to not ask as much for invoices or for receipts. But now they pretty much, if it's like, I don't know what their threshold is, but most of the shipments that are lost, they want to see invoices, or like you said, a bill of lading. So what we've done is just kind of create a little process where with every shipment, we just save those receipts, attach it to that shipment ID. So in the event that it's lost, then we can just quickly find those invoices.
Yeah, so maybe, a possible scan upload to our tool can be helpful at the time. Also, we're connecting to UPS's API so that we can sync the tracking numbers directly in with the status of the shipment to confirm that it got to Amazon and that the box dimensions matched what UPS had. So that's like a really, really cool advancement that we're working on. That's going to be huge for arbitrage guys.
Are y'all doing FedEx as well, or just UPS right now?
Yeah, anyone with an open API, we're going to be syncing.
Great.
Like those are the two huge things that we're working on right now.
Yeah, that is going to be very vital. That's awesome, man. Cool. Well, let's get back to these questions. Unless was there something else that you were about to mention?
Nope.
Okay. So what would be the best practice tips that you would suggest for sellers using Seller Locker? We kind of covered some of that.
Yeah, the only other thing to add is, sellers, sometimes they ship their products, in poly bags. I'm not too sure. Again, we're talking about retail arbitrage, but for the private label guys or for the one product that you have that you're sending to Amazon, a poly bag gets really risky because sometimes Amazon may pull that one out, and instead of measuring, till here, they may go the entire poly bag with an extra 3 inches on the end, and that can take you from one tier to the next. So we've had, hundreds of sellers, send me questions. I sell them poly bags. Amazon keeps fluctuating the fees. What do I do? Go to your factories, go to your distributors, your warehouse, get some tape it down, or, stop shipping in such loose packaging, because those numbers add up, really, really quickly.
Absolutely.
We had one seller, he sells like cushions, and he was, he had a poly bag over these cushions. Instead, he started wrapping it in saran wrap or sealed wrap where it's just the size of the product.
Yeah.
And in 2018, he made another $246,000 in profit. He was doing crazy in sales, obviously.
Yeah.
Just to get the fee down by making a dumb fix in his warehouse to just stop using poly bags and switch to a tighter packaging, brought his dimensions down in his fee. That's
incredible. Yeah. So it's really, I think that like the mindset when we talk about like reimbursements, it's like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. No, like this isn't like monopoly money. Like this is real dollars that everybody's leaving on the table. Man, like one shift like that, like that's a lot of money. It definitely matters for sure. Now, and I wonder what the case is too with arbitrage, because, everybody sends in, when you're selling under a listing where there's multiple sellers, how Amazon, like if they're going to measure somebody else's product and then apply that to everybody's dimensions. So
the best thing to do is have them, the second that fee goes up, the second there's a case, open it up so that they remeasure. It gets tough because they might measure the other guy's product.
Yeah.
But that's why with our tool, you don't leave it. It stays in the open section. And if you still have another SKU, you'd be able to, push back on Amazon. Yes, I understand that you had this SKU and you measured it, However, please look at this picture of my SKU. It doesn't, so they can override the typical canned responses.
Gotcha. Very good. So what are some other things besides the, linking with the UPS and FedEx API? What are some other things that y'all are working on?
So right now, what's really, really huge, happened 2 days ago, is the hazmat fee, that extra 11 cents that they're going to be charging on every single pick and pack fee if the product gets incorrectly categorized as hazmat.
Oh, wow.
So we already had a few, dummy accounts, demos that were beta testing it on, but someone had about, 11% of their catalog, and the guys are selling hazmat products just get incorrectly charged. It's already happening. So
yeah,
we don't know exactly if it's going to affect many accounts, what type of accounts, but it's going to come out soon. Just like there's an FBA fee case you can open in our tool, probably a hazmat case that you can open up in our tool.
Wow.
And then right with that, we're going to be releasing storage fees. So if someone incorrectly got charged FBA fees, that means that we're also charged storage fees as well. So those are two big things that are coming soon. And we're going to also be, this is coming, I'm not going to say it's coming ASAP, but it's a message center. So yes, right now we kind of put it on the seller to just read it quickly and decide if they won or lost. But we're now going to, kind of advise you and show you like a response to shoot to Amazon with, some AI stuff.
Gotcha. So how to basically, if they say, hey, we're denying this reimbursement, what y'all, suggestions on what?
Yeah, marking it as closed. Like the best thing you can do is try. You're not going to win every claim, like you may already know. Mm-hmm. And if you won, some people don't even understand the message to understand that they won. And then if they need a little bit more of information, auto-populating the response for them in those cases too. So all you got to just do is click.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, man. So what are, where was I at here? We were just talking about the stuff that you've got developing.
Probably number 9.
What's that?
I think we just discussed, what are some new developments?
Yeah, so the categories that tend to have higher amounts of reimbursements. What are some of those?
But hands down, inbound shipments. Inbound shipments is the number one mistake.
Absolutely, I would fully agree with that. Just experientially, for sure. And so will y'all be covering additional FBA markets? I mean, everybody in this group is definitely selling in the US, but
Yeah, so EU is and Canada, and we're going after Mexico. It's coming. I would say within the next 3 months, we should be in the other marketplaces as well.
That's awesome. Good for y'all.
The cool thing is you go back 18 months. So even though it's going to take 3 months, we'll still catch it. We'll go back and catch it.
That's right. That's awesome. Let's see. So there was a question here in the Facebook group. Melissa said, does this tool track returns? Let's see. Returns as
That's a good question.
Yeah. To make sure we're reimbursed for those. Go ahead.
So in that specific situation, right now we have a beta version of it. So whoever wants it can, when they sign up, just send me an email saying, hey, I like the beta version of the returns. And, that's free on the house. We're not going to charge a commission on that one. The only reason it's in beta and we didn't release it is because Amazon's success rate when it comes to that claim is very low. And sometimes sellers get frustrated with lost cases. So we figured, I don't want this to be part of my tool. And the reason it's low is because anytime that there's an issue that has something to do with the customer is always right. Everyone knows Amazon's model. The customer is always right, the customer experience. So they're always going to tend with the customer as opposed to the seller. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, sorry, as per our policy, we cannot accept the reimbursement. So yeah, we'll give you the return sheet. We'll show you how to create we'll even give you a filled out template if you'd like. So for anyone who wants that, great. And we're still going to tweak it. Maybe we can find a way to bring it to the tool successfully, but we haven't seen much success yet. So if anyone wants it, you can have it.
I'm going to go ahead and paste your email in here in the notes. So another question was, what are the fees of SellerLocker? And so that's kind of, we're getting into, what does this cost me, Joey? How much, everybody wants to know. But I would say before you answer that question, I would say hands down, and I've used reimbursement services. This is the absolute best tool, the most concise, clear. Like, I know that nothing's being left on the table after, we've worked on, after we've gone through all the cases that y'all found. And then,
I definitely appreciate that.
And then, in addition, like you're talking about the returns, I just sent you my email. I was like, I want the beta version, and I know that, yeah, like there are certain things like inbound shipments. That's pretty straightforward. Like, hey, the box didn't make it, right? But all the other stuff, that y'all find is fantastic. So what is this going to cost the audience? And then I guess in that same sentence, we could talk about what they're going to get, what we're going to.
Yeah. So we charge, just like the other services, 25% of the recoveries. We don't charge you anything up front. It's free to use, free to check out the information. And once you're wowed by it, we hope that you open up the claims using our tool, using our software. So we don't charge any fees up front, just that 25% on the recoveries. And what we're offering up front for these sellers, just because I believe that you guys are really going to love it, we're going to give you guys, a $250 credit of reimbursement on the house. We're not going to charge you anything on that first $250. And with Paul's permission, I was thinking we could do an incentive in the group that, if we can hit 50 signups using Paul's link to collect these signups, we'll up it to $500. So if we can get to 50, we're definitely happy to bring it to 500. Right now it stands at 250. It's definitely really exciting. And I hope we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I think we can hit the 50. There's enough people in the group. And I think too, everybody knows other Amazon sellers that are doing reimbursements. And honestly, I don't know if you've been noticing this. I mean, you're in the space, but I've been seeing other advertisements for different services. But it's not software, it's services. It's other people that have VAs. They're getting into your account or whatever, and they're going to be going and doing it. And so I would say, again, bar none, this is the best one out there. And one of the biggest things, it's nice to automate stuff, right? Like to just say like, here, yeah, go ahead and do it. But like we as the Amazon seller, we know our business better than anybody. So to actually be involved in the cases and to see what's going on, to see what's happening, you're going to know, hey, yeah, that shipment wasn't sent. This one was, or, hey, this fee is high or this one's not. And then once you get to that point, I actually trained a virtual assistant. I was just telling Joey this. I got an admin assistant that I trained on how to open up my cases, and she's just doing, like the basic, basic cases on shipments, on things that were lost and that kind of stuff. And so you can even automate this as it gets come up.
So again, I told you before, we're working on the dashboard to make it a little simpler. It's pretty simple already. And the other thing we're doing is we are training virtual assistants with some company that we're working with. We don't get anything from them, but we're training their VAs to work with customers like you that, learn your business, learn our tool, and technically now you have a VA at a very cheap price to maybe put in an hour. I don't think you need more than that, an hour every 2 weeks, maybe 15 minutes a week to get these claims out. And it's a slow it's not slow, but you should include it in your workflow. It's not a one day open up 100 claims. It's kind of like, let's do 15 minutes a week and you'll see how much money you can recover. And to what you said before, service versus solution, a service is only going to go so far. They're in it for themselves. They want to obviously I'm in it for the money too. I'm not going to say, I'm trying to do this for, the entire human life and trying to save the world. I love everyone, but the way that we built the tool was so that you can get back as much as you can. You can take it as far as you want to take it. The service is going to take it, open up a claim. If I win, if I lose, I'm out.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to go after the biggest claims. They're going to leave a lot of the small ones on the table.
Right.
For you, if you're a type of guy where a $70 claim is important, you're going to hit the open case button. It doesn't cost you anything. Right. If you want to take another shot at the claim, another software might say, hey, Amazon didn't receive anything. I'm not opening up this one. But you might know, hey, I sent that entire shipment.
Yeah.
So we had one customer who was using, we have many customers that did that. But we had one customer that was one of our beta guys, and he was coming for one of these services. And at the time, he recovered $6,000 in 2 months. Not bad, pretty solid. He used our software, and to date, he recovered $96,000
That's
in
awesome.
11 months. Like, it's not fake money, it's real stuff. And I'm not to say that they're bad services, but he decided he's going to have one of his employees spend 15 minutes a week. And in the past year, it paid off.
And I was talking to my buddy that does, he does bookkeeping for Amazon sellers, and in his bookkeeping service, like they're just trying to automate as much as they can with programming, the same thing that y'all are doing. As much as a computer can do to pull data that human hands don't have to touch, you're going to be that much more successful. And I realized that, I mean, I had a CPA before. My CPA was punching in all of the Amazon data points, and there was error after error. And then I switched to him. It cost me 1/10 of the price, and it's all accurate. And so the same thing with this. This is going to be accurate, and there isn't human error happening. That it's just we're human. We are full of error. So as much as you can automate, that really does help. Somebody just asked in the group, what do they do if they've already got a service right now? Is there a conflict with that? Like, how do they go from them to you?
So there are people with many other services. I think there's about 3 other big players out there. We'll show you what they missed. So I wanted to show my screen one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
And just let you know what those sellers would see when they sign up for our tool. Let's go back to this. So if you have another service, this is going to be cleared out when you first sign up because you didn't use our tool to open or resolve anything. But in this awaiting actions tab, you might have some money that's here that's already recovered. So, you know, there's a $7,000 estimation. 5,800 of it was recovered. There's still 14 or 1,100 to be recovered left. So we'll show you what they missed. We'll show you all the things that they didn't open up. But on a going forward basis, if you're going to open, so if you stop today and just take us on, we'll show you what they missed, and then you can decide in these scenarios like 4,600 was missing. I got back $4,000. Am I going to fight for the last 600? So I think Amazon's even going to give it to me. Maybe not. I'll dismiss it, but or continue going after the rest. So if you stop today and use our tool, you'll pick up whatever was missing. On an ongoing basis, it gets a little complicated because you don't know what cases they're opening up. You only know what cases they're opening up if they win the case. Mm-hmm. If they lose the case, our tool's still going to show it as an open discrepancy.
Yeah, so you don't want to be using one. Yeah, you don't want to be using both at the same time.
But if you want to use this as a last backup, you can. I totally get it. But using both, you might get the response, hey, you just opened up a case for this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they're doing. You're left blind.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, very good answers. Good information. Anything else you want to add? I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we did cover a lot. I hope I didn't overwhelm everyone.
No.
But yeah, I think one last cool thing, a really cool thing for the guys that aren't just retail arbitrage and do a little bit more private label. We do have, you know, these really cool things that cater to the fees, like this calculator. It'll show you not only how, you know, what your fee is right now in the Amazon, you know, ecosystem, what they're charging you, but it'll even show you how to get yourself into the next tier. So, you know, if these were your fees to get into the next tier and get into the next, you know, that next, I guess, call it tier, you would have to reduce your packaging by 0.04, and that can take you from 476 to 248. So we show you how to reduce your packaging for those private label guys, and we also show you recent fee changes. So if you notice any of your products, because of the other sellers that may be selling the same product as you, go up, you know, by $1.19 per unit, you might want to open up this case right away, even if it's not your own product. Have Amazon remeasure that product in their warehouse. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mentioned earlier that product that went from 18 inches to 18.1. That's a wholesale supplier of mine, but I'm even at the point where I'm going to approach them and say, hey, can you just reduce your packaging, you know, half an inch? And it's really not that hard. Especially if they own the manufacturing facility, which I'm pretty sure they do. But that's some good stuff. And guys, just to let y'all know, Joey is in the Facebook group. He's in the online arbitrage and the retail arbitrage group. So he is around to answer your questions. I've been using the service. I think I've been using it now for about 8 months.
I'll tell you right now, you signed up 6/25/2018.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's like right at 8 months. And I've been absolutely loving it. And it really does help. It's just another tool in the tool belt for operating your daily Amazon business. And as y'all can see, Joey's super laid back. He'll be able to help you out, him and Al and the rest of the team. They're always there to answer your questions. I was going to add this, and I'll kind of say this in closing. When you first log in, it is slightly overwhelming. You know, you might get this like astronomical number that pops up that says Amazon owes you this much. Don't take that number to the bank, and don't dismiss Seller Locker and say it's inaccurate. What Seller Locker is doing is saying this is potential. Okay, so it's your job as the seller, as we've been talking about this whole time, to go into the cases, to go into what are they saying? You know, did you not actually, you know, did you duplicate the shipment 3 times that, you know, Amazon's saying, you know, you're owed $2,000 on each shipment. Well, you closed them out, you didn't send them in. So you would dismiss those. But it doesn't mean that they're not finding you anything or that they're inaccurate. What it means is they're trying to uncover absolutely everything, and it's your job to kind of sift through that. The beginning, it
takes about a second. Perfect. You're saying it awesome. Right. It takes a second to dismiss. You hit one case, one click, and it's gone. You won't see it again. So that just thought, that 2-second thought, we include you in the process to make it accurate.
Absolutely. Versus the, go ahead.
And the last thing, and then I guess close it out, was, you know, when you open up cases and you're getting an answer no, or this was already reconciled, Amazon displays this information to us in the API. Sometimes they don't send us everything. We're taking as much as we can from them. We're taking everything we can from them. If they give you a no, you know, don't feel discouraged. If they find inventory instead of cash, which we don't charge you for, that's a win. You know, sometimes what may look like a loss is really a win. All you can do is try. So, you know, don't get discouraged if you have a few no's. You're going to have more wins than losses. And, you know, it's free money at the end of the day.
Absolutely, for sure. Awesome, Joe. Well, thanks for hopping on today. And y'all just ask your follow-up questions. I don't think there's no more questions that I am seeing at the moment. But I think the people that have been watching so far really enjoyed it. And we'll see. Man, I would love to get to 50 signups. That would be awesome. So guys, just let y'all know, if we get to 50 signups, that's an additional $250 off that y'all get. But as of right now, if you sign up with the link, you get a $250 credit. So right there, you just made $250. I mean, come on. Pretty awesome.
Thank you, Paul.
Awesome, Joey. Thank you very much. And you have a good day.
Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.